Hello and welcome to News at Noon. I'm Chris Nelson. There have been huge developments in the search for those who are believed to be responsible for the Boston Marathon bombings. One suspect is dead after a shootout with police last night, and a massive manhunt is underway for the second suspect, 19-year-old Zokhar Tsarnev, that has left the cities of Boston, Watertown, and several neighboring communities in a total lockdown. The suspects are reported to be two brothers originally from Chechnya. A police chase with the suspects last night that involved explosive devices being thrown at police from a stolen vehicle ended in the Boston suburb of Watertown. Watertown residents described last night's shootout to the Associated Press.
I actually heard a lot more than what I saw because I was over on Belmont, which is a street parallel to this, and you could hear what sounded like it definitely sounded like it was a shootout / chase. Cops were coming from this direction towards Watertown from Cambridge, and definitely heard a few explosions. They sounded like pops. There was two that were smaller that sounded like pops, and there was one that was a lot louder.
Stadies, unmarked cars, marked police cars, and so I went down there. They pulled over. I mean, they were like pulling cars over. A guy like blocked off the street, and most of the cars turned around. And I was like, "Why not? I'll pull over. I mean, see what's happening." And I mean, I could tell they were serious because he drew a pistol at me and he was like, "Go back, go home."
And I heard a couple of pops, and I thought it was fireworks. And I thought I would go check it out because it sounded like fireworks. I heard a loud boom, and then a rapid succession of pop, pop, pop. It sounded like automatic weapons. And then I heard the second explosion, and then there was the smell of something burning in the air. We were still going toward it, and then residents from the windows, they shouted, "Hey, it's gunfire, don't go that way."
3 people were killed and over 180 were injured in the Boston Marathon bombings on Monday. Reporter Marcus Oliver spoke with local Oakland County residents to hear their reactions to these acts of terror.
I actually lived out in Boston for a while, back in 2009, and it's really sad, you know. It's depressing that our society nowadays has to deal with that.
It's tragic. That people need to start being more observant and start looking around them. I mean, just, there's not always bad things, but there are good things to observe too.
It seems to hit home because you realize it could be you at any other public place. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's very scary.
One who wanted to create a story, destroy innocent individuals. It's madness. It's ignorance. It's someone who wants their 15 minutes of fame, and they're getting it. They're getting it on every news channel. They're getting it in every newspaper. They've achieved what they were trying to do. And nothing against you personally, but you as a member of the press are helping them out.
75-year-old West Bloomfield grandmother Sandra Lane was sentenced to 20 to 40 years in prison yesterday for the second-degree murder of her grandson, Jonathan Hoffman. Reporter John Turk has more on the sentencing. John, what happened in court yesterday?
Well, Chris, the 75-year-old pleaded with the court when it was her turn to speak Thursday, but Circuit Court Judge Denise Langford Morris gave her a sentence that was on the higher range of sentencing guidelines. Lane was convicted of shooting her 17-year-old grandson, Jonathan Hoffman, to death in her West Bloomfield home, May 2012. Before her sentencing Thursday, Lane said, "Sorry is, quote, too small a word for what she did." She said also, quote, "I didn't know what to do. I tried. I don't know what else to say. I don't want to die in prison, and I'm so sorry." After the proceeding, Lane's daughter and Jonathan's mother, Jennifer Hoffman, said she was pleased with the sentence.
I thought justice was done, and she deserved a life sentence, and she's locked away forever and can't hurt anybody else because she would murder again.
She gave a very long and emotional statement. Is there anything about that statement you'd like to tell?
Definitely. Everything she said in that statement was a lie. As typical of her, everything is about her, and she's a complete narcissist and self-centered And I just wish I had seen signs of how evil she was, or I would have never left my son with her.
Lane was also given a mandatory 2-year sentence for a felony firearms charge.
All right, thank you, John. And on to some lighter news. It's time to plan your weekend with Gary Graff.
The 22nd Annual Detroit Music Awards take place at 7 p.m. Friday at the Fillmore Detroit, with performances by special honorees Susie Quattro and Kem, as well as Katie Grace, Pazalaqua, The Blackbird Review, Ife Mora, Sweet Crystal with David Winans, Cybertribe and Half-Life, and Mike Ridley. Tom Dalton of Under the Radar Michigan hosts. For more details, visit DetroitMusicAwards.com. Record Store Day takes place Saturday around the world, with special releases from hundreds of artists and special events at stores around the metro area, including Street Corner Music in Oak Park, UHF Music in Royal Oak, and Found Sound in Ferndale. Everything you need to know can be found at RecordStoreDay.com. The Stars Guitars benefit on Saturday at the Ford Community and Performing Arts Center in Dearborn features autographed auction items from the Rolling Stones, Van Halen, Steve Vai, One Direction, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and more, as well as a strolling supper and a performance by the Little River Band. Proceeds benefit the Charles A. Main MD Pediatric Cancer Survivor Scholarship Fund at Beaumont Hospitals and the Pediatric Oncology Late Effects Clinic at Beaumont Children's Hospital. Visit starsguitars.org for tickets and other information. And at the movies this weekend, Tom Cruise takes to the future in Oblivion, Rob Zombie unveils his horror film The Lords of Salem, and Jason Bateman, Hope Davis, Alexander Skarsgård, and more star in the ensemble drama Disconnect, exclusively at the Birmingham 8.
And that's all the news we have for you today. Check back on the oaklandpress.com for the latest updates coming out of Boston and for other stories as well. I'm Chris Nelson for News at Noon. We'll see you again on Monday.